In the year 2179, Earth was no longer governed by nations but by remnants of civilization desperately surviving under massive shield domes. The skies burned with aurora-like scars, memories of the day they came. The aliens didn't announce their arrival with lasers or diplomacy. They simply appeared, seeded across Earth like spores of extinction. Dr. Alara Voss watched it unfold from her underground lab beneath what was once Geneva, a physicist by title, survivor by necessity. She was among the last scientific minds who hadn't been recruited or killed by the New World regime, the Axiom Protocol. Their motto, adapt or vanish. But Alara chose a third path, rewrite time itself. The time machine was never supposed to exist. It was theorized, debated, and buried in banned journals for decades. Yet in the silence of extinction, Alara unearthed the impossible. The prototype, codenamed Vessel, was barely stable. It hummed with a frequency that made light flicker in fear. But her calculations were relentless. The timeline she chose was precise. 2061. The first signals from deep space. The very moment humanity ignored what could have saved them. She wasn't going to fight aliens. She was going to warn humanity before the first message was even decrypted. On launch day, she recorded a final log. If you're hearing this, I made it, or I didn't, but this message survived me. Time is a mirror. If you shatter it, be ready for the reflection to fight back. Alara entered the vessel, setting the chronopoint. 2061, June 3rd, Global Astronomy Conference. The day humanity decided it was alone, just before the alien anomaly was mislabeled as background radiation. As the machine powered up, her lab began to collapse, destabilized by gravitational pullbacks. Dust lifted into columns like reverse waterfalls. Her hands trembled on the controls, but her eyes didn't blink. Everything went white. She awoke coughing on grass. Real grass. Her body convulsed from chronoshock. Around her stood modern cars, trees not yet scorched by plasma rain, and air untainted by decay. 2061. She was back. Only problem? No one would believe her. Not in this year. She needed a plan. Alara forged an identity. Dr. Eleanor Vares, and approached the scientific community. Her first stop, the Global Astronomy Conference in Berlin. There, she would find Dr. Halden Nix, a brilliant yet stubborn astrophysicist who would one day lead the team that ignored the alien signal. She didn't need to convince the world. Just him, but reaching him wasn't easy. Security was tight, credentials scrutinized. Her data files were ancient to these systems. Worse, she couldn't reveal her origin. Any mistake could corrupt the timeline, or worse, alert the Axiom Protocol before they even formed. Desperation seeped into her resolve, until she found a child, a 12-year-old girl named Nara, who overheard her conversation at a tech exhibit. Nara believed her, not because of her words, but her eyes. They looked like someone who had seen the end. Nara's uncle, Dr. Halden Nix. With a flash drive hidden in a necklace, Alara followed the girl. As she approached Halden's hotel suite that night, armed only with future data and a memory of annihilation, she whispered to herself, "They won't believe me, but maybe they'll fear the truth enough to listen." She knocked once. The door opened. The door creaked open, revealing a man in his 40s with tired, calculating eyes. Dr. Halden Nix. His expression shifted from annoyance to curiosity as he glanced between Alara and the nervous girl behind her. This is the woman I told you about," Nara whispered. Dr. Nix raised an eyebrow. "You have 30 seconds before I call security." Alara stepped inside without hesitation. "I'm from the year 2179, she began. "Earth is burning. You ignored a signal that started everything. I built a time machine to stop it." He stared. Silence hung between them like a wire pulled too tight. Then he laughed. Not cruelly, just the way scientists laugh when fantasy breaks into their ordered world. But Alara wasn't here for approval. She handed him the necklace. Inside, a flash drive encoded with scans of alien ruins on Mars, star maps marked with invasion vectors, and a recording of the first orbital breach in 2159. Halden's laughter died as he scrolled. How do I know this isn't fake? Ilara looked him dead in the eye. Because that signal you'll dismiss tomorrow, it's real. You'll say it's noise. But buried in it is a pattern. Prime numbers nested in fractals. It's a message from them. He blinked. And what do they want? She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she walked to the window, gazing out at the night city, glowing in ignorant peace. They don't want anything. Not yet. They're watching, waiting for our arrogance, for us to ignore the warning and act like the universe belongs to us. The next morning, Halden didn't go to the conference. He ran the signal analysis, and he found it, a message pulsing beneath cosmic background radiation like a heartbeat. Your evolution is incomplete. Coordinates followed. And something stranger, the message was dated from the future. Halden's hands trembled. For the first time in his life, he doubted reality. But not everyone stayed blind. Ilara's appearance triggered a silent alarm, buried deep in government monitoring systems set to detect temporal anomalies. A rogue AI, Project Hades, flagged her biometric signature. She didn't exist. Worse, her DNA matched no global records, but partially matched someone else, Dr. Halden Nix. They weren't just allies now. They were family. The chase began. Drones swept Berlin skies. Agents posing as journalists infiltrated the conference. Hades wanted Ilara, not to stop her, but to use her technology. She and Halden fled underground, with Nara guiding them through Berlin's utility tunnels. There, in the silence, Ilara revealed the last truth. I'm your granddaughter. Halden, you're the one who builds the Axiom Protocol after the invasion. Not because you're evil, but because you think control will save Earth. Halden stopped walking. But it doesn't, she continued. It enslaves it. They reached a hidden lab, once a Cold War relic, now reborn as a time lab. Halden helped her stabilize the vessel for one last jump. Not to warn, not to escape, but to change everything. Ilara had a choice. Small Blue Diamond travel back even further, to 2040, and plant the message earlier. Small Blue Diamond, or upload the truth now to every global network, knowing the world might panic or unite. Nara, watching them both, asked the one question those scientists had dared. What if the aliens aren't the threat? What if it's us when we don't listen? Ilara smiled sadly. Exactly. She didn't fear aliens. She feared human ignorance. And with that, she made her final jump to 2040. In the new timeline, the alien message was decrypted in time. Earth didn't build weapons. It built understanding. When the aliens came, they didn't find an arrogant species playing God. They found a world ready to evolve. Years later, in a classroom orbiting Mars, a teacher told the story of a woman who rewrote time to give Earth a second chance. Her name was forgotten by history, but her actions were not. She wasn't remembered as a warrior, but as a scientist who saved humanity by believing in it.